Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Base Paths and Brewskis. Today we have episode 21, Clash of the Titans. More like Smash of the Brewers' butts, though, because the Phillies kind of gave us the work in this series, which, you got to expect when you're playing. I don't know if they're currently the top team in baseball. I know them in New York have the same record
Yeah, they're
as of
probably the
now.
hottest team in baseball as of
Yeah,
now.
yeah, sexy as hell. Anyway, let's get to the beer of the pods. Throwing it back to the water. Right in the middle of the work week like this, can't be chugging beers too much. Got to stay hydrated. Fill the body up with some H2O before the weekend. Anyway, player spotlight. We got the NL Rookie of the Month of May. Joey. Whoa, this dude's excited for Joey.
Go.
Dude, I mean, the baseball savant kind of speaks for itself how his season's going. Uh, Batting run value 10, base running run value, not what he's known for necessarily, but 87th percentile with one. And the fielding run value, I was a little shocked at how low it is. It might just be like kind of harder to grade a third baseman compared to a shortstop, but 67th percentile fielding run value as well. I mean, all his expected stats above the 50th percentile. He's expected to be slugging 444. His bat speed's quick, not necessarily always translating to his exit velocity, but I mean, he doesn't swing at bad pitches, doesn't really strike out that much, and he walks. Um, it's pretty good when your walk percentage is almost higher than your strikeout percentage. So that's
Yeah.
always a great sign, especially for a rookie. Again, his range, arm strength is like mid for a third baseman, which whatever. I mean, he gets the ball there. There was a play today in the Phillies series where he rifled it over, and it looked pretty easy. Threw it from like almost in the outfield grass at third base, so I'm not too worried about that. And the sprint speed was pretty good as well at 81st percentile. But anything to you on the screen jumping out right away?
And all those numbers right at the bottom of the batting section on Baseball Savant, those chase, whiff, K, and walk percentiles. I mean, good things happen when you don't strike out and you
Yeah,
walk. And I mean, it's obviously paid off for him. And also, that bat speed, I don't remember when it was, but there was that graphic that MLB put out like a month ago when the bat speed statistic first came out,
hmm,
essentially saying that swinging the bat faster led to more success at the plate, and
right.
is one of those cases that kind of you kind of verify it. Like we've seen how successful he's been at the plate, especially this past month, and then you see all these statistics that pretty much back it up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the dude just, I mean, look at his spray chart even too. He's hitting, oppo home runs, a lot of doubles all over the field. He really is just putting the ball in play and making good things happen. I mean, we talked about this earlier in the season with, kind of that little league coach mindset of like, put the bat on the ball and good things will happen, kid. Like, and that's kind of what he's doing. So, shout out to him too for the NL Rookie of the Month. I saw his press conference or interview, whatever it was, where some reporters kind of came up to him in the locker room, and he seemed excited about it. But like you can tell, he's just focused on winning and doing his job, and he just happens to be really good at doing his job. So then he gets accolades like this. So shout out to him. I hope he can keep that going. And I think right now he's fourth odds to win the NL Rookie of the Year. So hopefully, the line makers come to their senses a bit
Let's
and
start
bump him
rigging
up.
games or something. We gotta
Yeah,
we gotta make
yeah, we need
them
that number
happen.
up. But anyway, let's move on from Joey. Obviously, not as fun to talk about the rest of the stuff that we'll be discussing today, just because of the nature of the series and how it went. Game one, we lost 3-1. I did want to say, excuse my voice if it's a little nasally. There's a ton of cottonwood falling in lacrosse. It looks like it's snowing here, so I like am having pretty bad allergies in June, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, I just want to get that out. But craft brew player of the game. I mean, really only the bright spot of the offense in this game, and also kind of had a cool moment. Reese Hoskins, a homecoming game for him. He got to go back out in front of his, former team. He'd been there I want to say like 6 to 8 years. Like he was there a while.
Yeah.
With the Phillies, and really was one of those dudes who was kind of there through the thick and thin of, when the Phillies weren't doing as hot, and then was able to, see a little bit of success with them later on. Sadly, in 2023, wasn't able to play, as you know. But yeah, definitely got to have a cool homecoming, hit a home run. Only run scored the game, so for the
Hmm.
Brewers. So I mean, that was cool. Pitching staff kind of did their thing. Koenig, I'm nutting over this dude every episode. Fantastic opener for
Pause.
Bryce. Whoa, whoa. Anyway, Koenig, an inning of work. Obviously, the opener came out, did his job. Bryce Wilson, uh, you know, 5 2/3 with 3 earned runs is like, if he was starting, that's an out away from a quality start. So do with that what you will. One strikeout to get all those outs as well. I'd like to mention, like, just having the other team put the ball in play, and trusting your defense that he's obviously got a really solid defense behind him. And then Hobie Milner came in, kind of filled it up for an inning and a third. And obviously we didn't need a ninth inning guy, but I mean, really, the story of this series was the Phillies. I mean, it wasn't really the Brewers. They outpitched us for sure. They played incredible defense and they hit the ball. What was something? Obviously, you knew going into this series that this was going to be a really good opponent. What was something though that just kind of stood out as like a, oh shit, these guys are for real kind of thing to you?
Probably how well the bottom of their order was hitting. I mean, anytime you have a full, obviously they got the guys at the top like Schwarber, Real Muto, Harper, even Bohm, you toss in there those premier hitters in their lineup. But when you're having to worry about dudes like David Dahl, Edmundo Sosa, Johan Rojas, piecing you up and putting
Yeah,
hard hit balls in play, that's kind of when you got a bit of a juggernaut squad.
right.
And and then they're pitching as well. I mean, it feels like from their starters to their relievers, they're just overall very nasty. And I mean, we knew going in, they're had tied with the best record in the league, probably the hottest team in the league over the past 2 to 3 weeks. We knew this was going to be a tough series, and they just kind of showed that the, why they're playing so well. They are a juggernaut squad that is very well rounded and can do it all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it showed today, this team obviously hits the ball well, which our pitching did a phenomenal job this series. So shout out to them. I think giving up like 7 total runs over the series, I want to say. 3 in the first game and 2 in the next 2, which the the second game, obviously the ghost runner on second was the one who scored as the second run against you all Pyomp. So I mean, it kind of sucks that you start the inning with a runner on, but uh, yeah, I mean, this team is deep. Like, I pulled up Edmundo Sosa's baseball reference because I've heard he's been having a good season. He currently leads the NL in triples, with 4. He's got a 923 OPS, 162 OPS plus, and he was Trey Turner's replacement. I mean, like Trey Turner's been hurt. And like when you have guys like this who they have the problem of like finding a place in the lineup for this dude. Like
Yeah,
he's obviously going to stay in the lineup at like somewhere, but Trey Turner will likely go back to playing shortstop just because of how much money he's making. But like
yeah,
that, that's a good team when you have some guy come up, backup shortstop come in and play, and he's like 162 OPS plus, and that's in over 100 plate appearances. So I mean, that's like
that's no
not a
small
small.
sample size.
Yeah, like he's definitely, I think the big thing is like getting to 100, 200 plate appearances. That's when you can really, take these numbers serious. But the counting stats are there for him too. The 5 doubles, 4 triples, 4 homers, like 2 stolen bases. He's doing it on the bases paths as well. And he's overall just being a great hitter. So, I mean, that kind of showed the strength of this team overall. And then the pitching, I mean, obviously we got shut down this series scoring, what was it, like 2 runs in 3 games?
Three, 2 runs total. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had kind of a buzzsaw of Wheeler and then Nola today. Who was the game 2 pitcher? Uh,
Um, Sanchez, I believe,
Sanchez. Yeah.
left-hander.
Yeah, so and then Alvarado out of the bullpen, he's a nasty pitcher. He fastball sitting 98, 99, and then has like a 91 mile an hour cutter that basically is like a cut slider almost. I mean, like it's a dirty pitch, but and he just
Yeah.
locates so well too. But we unless you have anything else you want to throw in about game one here, we can head over to game two.
I think this was the game. This is kind of where I knew we may have hit like a mini slump with the
Yeah.
offense was we had bases loaded and nobody out in like the fourth inning.
hmm
And what was it? Terang bounces into a double play.
Yeah, the 1, 2, 3.
Yep. And then William Contreras strikes out. And that's when I was like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and this was also the game. Was it this game or the second game where Hoskins got thrown out at the plate?
That was
I
this
think
game as well. Yeah,
yeah,
stole a bag
yeah,
after
that was crazy.
so yeah, that shout out Reese Hoskins for stealing
Yeah,
the bag on Rumuto.
yeah, that was
And
funny.
then yeah, Perkins hit that single, and when he did that, I was like, oh yeah, we're on the board. But
Right.
Rojas from center field threw a laser.
Yeah, that was yeah. I mean, that was a great throw. Credit to him. And like, you have to take that. You have to take that risk because this is a good team where obviously runs are going to be very hard to come by. But Rojas basically delivered the only throw that would have got him out,
Yeah,
and that's baseball. So I mean, I think encouraging thing for me after this game, it was like and after the whole series in general, it was just that we were able to hang with them. It didn't look like
yeah,
we were out of our league, and like we stuck with them in a couple different plays go the other way, and we could have swept the series. So I mean, like that's how I look at it. Obviously, that's a very optimistic way of looking at it after getting swept. But yeah, we can head over to game two. 2-1 loss. This one was an extras. We had the lead going pretty late. I want to say into like the eighth inning, I believe we had a one run lead. Um,
hmm
Sanchez pitched well for them. Again, Koenig and Ray, they combined for 5 1/3 of good pitching, 4 strikeouts between the two of them. Interesting. They're getting it done on the trusting their defense guys. Brian Hudson came in and filled it up as well as he has the whole year, really. He kind of had that hiccup last series. But yeah, I mean, our pitching was great. Payam's tough break, really. You're facing Castellanos with a runner on second, and he took a high fastball first pitch and just
hmm
drove it to right field, which it was a pitch that not many guys do that with. So tough,
yeah,
tough outcome again. I think play that game 10 times and it goes either way every time. So I mean, whatever. But overall, again, the offense sputtering throughout this game. It seemed like we had opportunities with runners in scoring position, or at least on the base paths, and really just weren't able to do much. I think by the end of the series, we had 4 runners thrown out at home plate, and
ugh,
I don't know if that's including force outs or not, but either way, I mean that's a runner that was 90 feet away
yeah,
who
that's
decided to come
gross.
home and got out. And yeah, and I mean, most of the time that's a run, so that sucks. But did you want to hop in and talk a little bit about the craft brew players of the game? I had Jared Koenig and Colin Ray just because they've kind of been doing their thing.
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, they did their thing. Jared Koenig does what he does as the opener. I mean,
hmm
at this point, it's probably a good bet that it's a move they'll go to if they face a left-handed top-heavy lineup because he's so effective in that role. And
Yeah,
then Colin Ray, better than his typical outing. No
yeah,
runs allowed, only 4 hits allowed. I mean, that's encouraging.
yeah. And it was only
Um,
4 innings, so I
yeah,
mean,
yes.
if he goes another one, who knows what happens? Probably give
Oh
up
yeah.
his typical three, but uh,
Brian
yeah,
Hudson, elite, as we knew.
yeah, yep,
That
yep,
guy. Um,
yeah, dirty.
and even Elvis Peguero was pitching well. I mean, Alec Boehm just took a sinker up and in dead center for the homer that tied it, and that's
Yeah.
just that's a good at bat. You can't be really mad about. I mean, I know in the show that pitch is pretty much unhittable, so I don't know how
Right.
different it is in real
Yeah.
life.
he was not playing at 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, 10 Monster Energies deep. Yeah,
yeah, no, he
barely
was
skiing.
dialed in.
He's yeah. And I mean, Alec Boehm is another guy who's like on the low, having a really good season. I
Hmm.
think I don't know where he ranks as of now, but I know for a while he was like top five in batting average. With how obviously that stat is starting to become a bit outdated, but still 831 OPS, 137 OPS plus. Obviously he's still hitting for power and getting on base as well. Leads the MLB with 23 doubles. Like this dude's having a really good year, and it's like, how much more can Philly get? Like, I mean, they have like every position slotted with studs, and like they're starting to get to the point where they have too many guys with like Sosa and Turner fighting for a spot. Like, who would have thought Trey Turner would be, you know, having a position battle and getting Wally pipped? But
Yeah.
I mean, we can head back to the Brewers and stop blazing the Phillies like
Go,
this.
go, go, go.
uh, um, I mean, Blake Perkins 2 hits in this game, Christian Yelich 2 hits. Kind of the guys you'd expect to, put hits on the board did. Gary Sanchez kind of starting to trickle back to maybe what
He's
we
on
were
a thin
seeing.
line.
Yeah, kind of maybe going back to what we were seeing earlier in the season. Churio really kind of continuing to struggle. He had a bright moment with that big 3-run home run last series, and I mean it's little moments like that that kind of give me that little extra hit and leaves me wanting more. And as of now, at like 67 OPS plus, just really not having too many competitive at bats, getting on base. A quarter of the time he's up there is just not going to cut it. Um, so I don't know if he could benefit from like some AAA time or something, but think I think it's starting to get to the point where putting him in the lineup is being a bit of a hindrance to the success of the team, which obviously you want him to develop. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you're a team that's competing like the Brewers are, I mean, we're one of four National League teams above 500. And so, I mean, like, we are kind of in an elite class in our league right now, and
Yeah.
putting guys out there just to develop them is not, maybe necessarily the best game plan. But what are you thinking about Churio? I know, like, we usually have pretty similar outlooks on things. Are you kind of leaning towards potential minor league, or are you more of like stick it out, give them a chance, let the money talk a bit, keep putting them out there?
I mean, yeah, on one end, I want to see him, yeah, like where this actually appears to be like a very good Brewers team that if the right things happen could make a pretty deep run. And if that's the case, I don't mm, one end I don't want to see an at bat just go to waste on, a strikeout or a weak ground out that is seems to be his MO recently. But at the same time, we're also paying him however much as a rookie. I mean, he's
Right.
getting veteran MLB player money for the next 8 to 10 years,
Yeah.
and he's pretty much platooning against left-handers only. He's platooning with Frelick. So I don't know. I'm in between send him down for the success of the team, or literally don't take him out of the lineup unless he needs a break and let him hit and just get as many at bats as possible in like the 8 or 9 hole.
Yeah.
Just because every time he starts against a left-hander, but then as soon as a right-hander goes in, Frelick comes in to pinch hit and take a spot. I mean, that can't be great for your confidence.
Right. Right. And I
Um,
mean, I think he's doing a good job, like outside. I mean, obviously his fielding, he's definitely grown into being a pretty good outfielder, a good
mhm.
right fielder. Just looking at his baseball savant, 3 run value for fielding, 1 run value for the base running. His batting run value, however, is the sixth percentile. So I mean,
Jesus.
that's scraping the bottom of the barrel of the league there. The only stats above 50th percentile is his bat speed at 73 and a half miles an hour. And the hard hit percentage he has at 59th percentile. Otherwise, he's got a 38th and a 33rd percentile, and everything else is 20 and below.
And I
So, I
mean,
mean,
the bat speed percentile is encouraging. I mean, we
right.
knew he'd struggle. We knew he would struggle with the stuff of MLB pitchers, but he's still an athletic freak and can get the bat off his shoulder quick. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
kind of leaning towards like just let him play every day and
yeah,
let him grow into the role that they want him to be as a potential all-star hopefully in the next, maybe not this year or the next, but eventually we're expecting him to be an all-star level player.
yeah. I agree with you, and it is kind of like you know it would suck to see 2.5 million or whatever he's making this year down in Nashville. I mean, obviously the people who attend those games, that'd be pretty exciting,
Yeah,
but
but
for
then,
the overall, yeah, for the overall like growth, is that the better option? He kind of
yeah.
did all he could do in the minor leagues. He tore it up. And now it's kind of like time to, show what he's got in the big leagues. And I would never want to see him turn into like a Keston Hira who kind of
Yeah.
gets caught between the two leagues and or two levels and isn't really able to figure it out. So I think you're kind of changing my mind a bit. I think definitely just giving him some more at bats against lefties or potential Sunday game, have him play against a righty in a series where we're up 2-0 or something like that. Like that's definitely something that could be in the cards too. Anything else you want to say about game two here? Again, a lot of these games, it's if you like pitching and defense, it was great to watch. But if you're into the barn burners, you kind of missed out in this series.
Oh.
But anything else you want to say about this game?
Yeah, shout out to Trevor McGill too. I forgot to mention him earlier. He he still shows he's nasty.
Mhm.
Overall, man, this bullpen is gross.
Yeah,
And I think if Devin Williams comes back in any sort of form close to himself, it's going to be a real problem for a lot of teams to get any sort of hits off of us late in games.
yeah, yeah. I mean, especially when we have our starting pitching that's only going 5, maybe 6 innings. Most
Yeah.
games. Having if you're it's always solid when you can have the lead in the 6th or 7th inning and know you're gonna win. I mean that's
Yeah.
that's there's not
Yeah.
much of a better feeling when you have that. But I mean like just looking at the ERAs to kind of finish this up. Obviously Koenig under 2, Hudson under 2, Peguero around 3 ERA, McGill working his way down to low twos, and Payamps with a bit of an elevated ERA. But I mean, and you look at the other team's ERA as well, the Phillies, they're all solid too. And,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I mean,
That's
a
insane.
common denominator with two teams that are on top of the division. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like they're both really good teams and they look very similar. Obviously, a lot more star power on quote unquote star power for the Phillies, especially with some of
Payroll.
their. Yeah, exactly. But like, I mean, some of like the names they have might be a little more nationally recognized
Mm.
than say Andrew Monasterio, but no, no slighting
Shout
to
out
him.
Andrews.
No stray meant by that at all.
Yeah.
But shout out that 138 average too. That's going hard. Anyway,
133 now.
oh,
It actually got low.
oh. All right. All right. Before we take the wrong turn here, let's
490
let's.
OPS, but what about
We did not win this game 2-0. We lost this game 2-0. I messed up the score there.
oh no. Oh
I'm changing.
no.
I'm rewriting the books. I'm rewriting history.
That's what
Yeah. So we lost today as well. Again, just pitching duel. Aaron Ashby, I did give the player of the game to, despite being the only pitcher in the game to give up runs. So maybe an interesting call by me. He did have 5 walks. To me, it was just encouraging seeing him go back out there and like compete and not give up like a 6 spot in 3 innings.
yeah.
Like I just always fear Aaron Ashby going out there and just like shitting the bed, and he really didn't. So that's kind of why I was like celebrating this as a victory. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, overall, just kind of another bleh game. Like, not a lot going on. Anything you wanted to really hit on that you noticed, or maybe just saw in the box score here? Anything stick out to you?
Yeah, just to add on to the best bullpen in the league, I forgot Enoli Paredes and Hobie
Yeah,
Milder. I mean, we just keep pumping them out.
yeah. I mean, pretty
And
much all of our guys, they just show up and throw shutout ball. Like,
I mean, Anoli Paredes hasn't given up a run yet. Knock on
Yeah.
wood, but I mean, he's been
Yeah.
lights out.
Yeah, I mean, like that's just really cool to see that a guy who like just kind of was signed from Houston, uh, who knows if he even expected to be in, the majors this year, and
Mhm.
now 7 innings, uh, in 5 appearances, and he has not given up a run. He's given up 1 hit.
Jesus,
He's
and that was
he's
today.
walked, yeah, he's
That was
walked 3 guys. That's it. Um, yeah, and I mean yeah, Cade 7. So I mean, like this dude's. Oh, he hasn't walked anyone. Sorry, he hasn't walked anyone or given up a hit until today. So, uh,
yeah, it's a small sample size, but I mean, you got to be happy with it. Like it's
yeah, I
like
mean, I'll take it
yeah,
if you can
like
send him out there for an inning or two and he just shuts everyone down and looks
that
sick doing it. Like I'm there.
that, that
I'm there for
first
that.
three spot he gives up, I'm gonna be sick
Yeah, I might
because
have
it
to
it happens
sell
it
sell the
eventually.
stock here.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna make me
Yeah.
really upset.
Hopefully by then he's got like 20 innings, so then it doesn't really affect his ERA. But like
Yeah,
a 3 spot right now could boost it up a bit. But
yeah,
I mean, in terms of the offense, Joey Ortiz got on twice. Um, Gary striking out. That's pretty much all he
Gary.
did. He's been playing a decent catcher, so it's kind of hard to be like too upset. I mean, I'm not super familiar with his exact metrics at catcher, but from what I've watched, he seems pretty good.
hmm
Um,
Contreras had kind of a bounce back day. I
yeah.
I wanted to touch on him because I just saw this on Twitter before we started recording. His OPS is down to 864 now, and he's hitting roughly 240 with a 598 OPS in the last 15 games.
Oh wow.
I I know he prides himself as an Iron Man, but man, does he need a day or two off? Like
Yeah.
it doesn't look like he's having fun either. Like
Yeah,
he's
he kind of
chasing a
looks
lot
like
more.
he looks tired for sure.
Yeah,
And like no one's gonna be pissed if you miss one game, dude. Like, I don't know if he has some kind of like bonus built into his contract if he plays every game or something, but
he could.
like, and like
Yeah,
even like Willie too. Willie could use a day off. I think
yeah,
that Sunday game where they like weren't in the lineup and then asked to be in the lineup, uh, maybe wasn't the greatest decision
yeah. But
against
I think
the White Sox, knowing that you have 3 games against arguably the best team in the league right now.
yeah,
Uh,
but I guess they're only like a game or two away from breaking that record, and it's kind of like, yeah, good, good. Like you want to see
yeah,
guys breaking records, but let's let's make sure you're healthy and like
yeah,
actually playing good baseball for most of the season too.
right.
Because I mean, he's very key to what we do here, and he,
Yeah, yeah. He's a major spark plug in what we got going on here. But I mean, and it also like kind of got me a little concerned today. I don't know if you saw the play where he slid into home and also got tagged out at the plate, um, by a great throw from Alec Boehm at third. Um, I forget who it was that smoked that ball to third. If it was Yelly maybe. Anyway, Contreras kind of made a dash for the plate, and Bohm had a nice throw. Stubbs just did a good job of not blocking the plate, but still getting the out.
yeah,
And Contreras kind of slid his hand into um, Stubbs's foot, and I like almost shit myself when I saw that because I was praying that William Contreras didn't just break all his fingers or break his hand or something. And
yeah,
he ended up he seemed fine because he came up in I believe it was the 8th inning, and had a nice base hit to right field, just
yeah,
kind of smacked one off. Or was it the 8th or 9th? I don't remember what inning it was, but Contreras he had a high fastball, I think, with 2 strikes, and just ripped it out to right field, and
yeah.
it was nice to see that.
He's still hitting the ball hard. I just feel
Oh
I
yeah,
the at bats I've noticed, it feels like he's chasing that junk that he wasn't, just 3, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah,
But yeah, great players are gonna do great things, and of course, he went 2 for 4. Sucks that we couldn't really do anything with it, but
right. Yeah, and I think again, it's just kind of a lot of unlucky plays. I'd love to see like the BABIP from our team this series, the batting average on balls in play, because I
yeah,
just feel like we were, Bryson Stott was making a ton of nice plays, a lot of fielders making like nearly perfect throws to get us out. So kind of just a lot of unlucky stuff. But anything you wanted to say, just kind of wrap this up, this game, series in general. Obviously, great pitching again by Philly.
yeah. It's encouraging that we can hold a team that good to what 7 runs over the course of the
Yep.
series.
Yeah.
More props as we've already clamored on about already this episode. That our pitching staff is really good. At least the bullpen starters still trying to figure out who we can rely on, but
Right.
it's encouraging going forward once we start getting some guys back, maybe make a move for another starter. That this, fingers crossed, this is a team that can make a run at something.
Yeah. I mean, I think like in terms of looking for a starter, we kind of talked a lot about or maybe touched on him more, I guess is the appropriate thing. Garrett
Touched them?
Crochet, we touched him up. Uh,
No,
Garrett
we did not.
Crochet, we touched him up. I did. Uh, oh,
Jeez.
on my fantasy team too, by the way. Shout out Garrett Crochet. It'd be dope if he was a Brewer. Tough, it'd probably be a huge haul to get him, but anyway, we'll move on to the series awards. I had the MVP as just the pitching staff. We don't need to touch on that anymore.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
already got them
They're
clobbered
very
up
good.
enough.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. The barrel blaster didn't feel appropriate to give it to anyone. If you had someone you wanted to give it to, feel free. I just couldn't in my uh I couldn't feel good enough about giving it to any one player, so I
I
just
guess
chose
you
not to.
guess you could give it to Contreras. I mean, he's got. I think in every game he had at least one hard hit over 95 miles an hour. I think game two
Yeah.
he hit one that was 113 off the bat that ended up being an out. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's when he barrels stuff up, it's gonna go 1,000 miles per hour. So I mean, I guess you give it to him for the series. It's just unlucky.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Gary, shout out to him. He did hit one like 110 straight at Whit Merrifield in left field today. He actually like didn't move. It was like one of those in the show when they hit it to you and the ball marker's like right where you are.
Those
He did
suck.
not move. So that was a nice swing by Gary. Crafty pitcher I gave. It was, I mean, it was hard. I could have gave it to anyone, but Hobie Milner really went up and faced some good solid batters in this series. Obviously, some of the lefties on this team are their, heart of their lineup, like the Harpers, the Schwarbers, those guys. And Hobie Milner just went toe to toe with anyone he faced and got all of his outs. I think ended up getting 7 outs this series. So good job by Hobie. The hometown hero award, the series award, I gave to Reese Hoskins just because it was kind of cool seeing, stories like that are cool. Like baseball's
Yeah.
awesome. How can't you be romantic about baseball, as they say?
Mwah, mwah,
Um,
mwah.
oh, bullpen. Uh, and like it was cool seeing like just the support he had because you can tell he made a difference on the Philly community. So obviously, I
Yeah.
think we're feeling the effects of that as well in Milwaukee. He seems to have changed like the entire team attitude,
Yeah.
along with Pat Murphy. So obviously, really thankful he's with us now. Really, he seems like a really genuine good dude, um, and he's a good ball player too. So that's been awesome.
Yeah, you
So.
can play some ball.
He can hit some dingers for sure. Had the big one in game one. Took his team lead back from Willie Adames. So, uh, well, because he was tied with him still after missing so many games. But good job, Hoskins, hometown hero. The B&B trivia. What player on the Phillies often wears green cleats and batting gloves, despite the team's colors being red, white, and blue? Is it A, Kyle Schwarber, B, Bryce Harper, C, Bryson Stott, or D, Nick Castellanos?
Huh. Ha ha ha. That's a tough one.
He was sporting the all green today, actually.
I'm gonna go Castellanos. I have no idea.
It was Bryce Harper. He's
Really?
he's he often, if you look him up, he'll wear like the Philly Fanatic cleats. He's got like the Philly Fanatic sliding mitt, I think. Like he loves that guy. He's always got the green on. So uh
Okay,
pretty
interesting.
decent little look. I like it, but yeah, that was a fun trivia. Kind of pulled that one out of my butt. But
Pause.
up next, up next we got the Detroit 31 and 30. Well, it's not. We'll be in Detroit. They are not coming to Milwaukee. Can't have shit in Detroit. So hopefully they can't have any wins that we're about to take from them.
That could
Anyway,
backfire on us, and we
yeah,
can't shit in Detroit.
maybe we can't. Yeah.
If we get
Uh,
swept by Detroit, I'm gonna have some drastic opinions for our next episode.
Yeah, shout out my boy Jimbo Dore. He's from Detroit, along with Marv Rushing. Shout out to you guys if you hear this ever. My Detroit boys. Um, yeah, dude. The AL Central, fun fact, has as many teams over 500 as the entire NL. Isn't that crazy?
And we're one of them, baby.
Yeah, that's right. I
Let's
think the
go.
only AL Central team under 500 is the White Sox, and they're way under 500.
And they stink. So we,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
we knew that.
we shit on them. But all right. With that being
Fuck you,
said,
Tommy fam.
bitch made. Bitch made. Let's see him go 5 rounds with Khabib. Come on, Tommy fam.
Yeah,
Let's see him get back to
let's
fighting.
wrestle. Let's wrestle.
I need to win this fight. I need I need to challenge
I need to
champion.
fight for a belt.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Any beers you've been dying to try? If you have a go-to beer that I need to try, kind of been slacking on the beers, comment or reach out on any of the socials listed below with what I should drink next. With that being said, shaker bottle of water is gone. Staying hydrated. Thank you guys for listening and have a good one.
Peace.